And we are back, and we just finished watching Weapons from 2025, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours and 8 minutes. This comes to us from writer-director Zach Cregger, and in spooky season, Uncle Leo's here to help us out with this review. Hey, Uncle Leo.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here to talk about this one.
So good, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
According to IMDb, it says, when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. So I remember when I saw the advertising for this movie, I think, Ray, you sent me the trailer, right?
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? I mean, as soon as I heard from the guy that did Barbarian, I'm like, okay, we're obviously going to go to the theater to watch this. And we did. And a fantastic time was had by all. I want to give a shout out to all the creatives this year because the horror genre is living its best life this year. I don't think we've seen it done in the theater, have we?
No. Sinners.
Everything has been just
Bring
amazing.
Her Back.
Bring Her Back was amazing. This was amazing. We're going to go see Good Boy. I can't wait. But this one is definitely in my top 3 for the year. Bar none. Yeah, this is definitely in my top 3. So let's get into it. This is, again, like the blurb said, this is a story of a community dealing with the disappearance of 17 of 18 children in I think it was like a 3rd grade class or a 4th grade class. And what happens, and the story is told very interestingly in chapters through the vantage point of participants within the story. Our first participant is this teacher, Justine, and it's her class that has been impacted by this strange event that happened in the middle of the night. When we start the film, our entryway is through narration. There's a child that's doing the narration, and she's telling us that this is like a town like a lot of other towns. But one night, this strange phenomenon happened. At 2:17 in the morning, 17 of the 18 kids in this class just got up and left their houses and ran into the night, never to be seen. And so when the story opens up, we're looking through Justine's vantage point, and there's a school meeting, and she's at the front, and she's really apologetic. She's completely confused. She doesn't understand how this happens, and she is getting just a lot of hate from the parents in the audience. Lenny, may I come to you as an educator?
That's what you referred to me as? Okay.
As an educator.
Uh-huh.
How did that scene track to you?
What, the parents came after her?
Yeah.
Oh, seems run of the mill. It seems something quite possible, and something quite possible for much less could happen for that. Because it's like, besides 17, first of all, I laughed at 17 out of 18 children missing because my class has 32. And I teach 5th grade, and I think the character was he seemed like maybe a 4th grader.
Yeah.
I felt like when she went to like the town hall of the school, within the auditorium, and the principal was trying to calm down the masses, and they just kind of went for blood right away because they had no answers. And this, obviously the teacher couldn't have anything to do with these kids missing because all your kids ran out at 2:17
from your houses,
from your own house.
Yes.
And
she's
got something to do with it.
Yeah.
And that was like, yeah, that seems blame the teacher. And then the principal had actually asked the teacher to kind of take a break. Not sure if it was paid or not, but that seems very run of the mill because you speak to many teachers, and when they get blamed for something, it's like, forget it. They go for your job. When they go for your job, they go for your pension. They don't realize when you go to the principal for every little thing that becomes an investigation.
Right.
So this teacher going through that, I'm like, yeah, right away. They I don't know if they knew that the people who wrote that this is how the teacher would be kind of treated right away. But the how was, I don't know if any other job you would have to stand in front of all those parents or as many people and have to defend yourself, and you're making like $50,000 a year. I don't know many jobs that would have that. So that struck me, but it wasn't very surprising on how that the teacher was demonized right away. They left your house at 2:17. I'm in bed.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, not to get off on a tangent, but I feel like that is the parent-teacher relationship. Where do I put the blame as a parent? Because it's obviously I'm not accountable, right? Because what's the standard line? Well, they're under your care. So, and it's like, No, they're the teacher. They're there to facilitate learning for your child, but you're the parent. So
Yep.
where's
And all
where's
those
your
parents
personal responsibility?
and all those kids at 217 ran out. Like, I'm like, first of all, what the heck is going on? Like right away. Like this movie went right away. We're right in the auditorium, and they just want blood, and I'm like, yeah, I've kind of been there. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
they did it. That was quite smart and quite true to how I think ultimately the parent-teacher relationship is. It's like, oh, you praise us and we're supposed to be partners in this, but when push comes to shove, oh, you did this. Okay. But it was good. It was good. It was very, very true to life.
Yeah, I see that as well. But I also like the character of Justine is very plucky because she finds herself in this shit situation, but she's very proactive about wanting to kind of vindicate herself. She tries to involve Paul to some extent, although maybe not, and then Marcus for sure, and she takes it upon herself to follow Alex. So, and then she sort of makes an alliance with Archer, who's our second character point of view, and then we go through Archer, who happens to be one of the parents. So
he's the one who actually calls her out at that auditorium.
At that meeting. Yeah, right. So it was interesting how that story played out, that they become sort of like this unified front to try to figure out what's going on, because I think
he changes when he sees the way Marcus was running.
Right.
Because he's like, he was obsessed with that video of his kid running out of the house.
Right. So as a parent, I will come to you. And what did you think of the Archer character?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I mean, his character made a lot of sense in that, his son is gone. He's blaming himself. You could see in that dream when he's like looking at his kids sleeping in the beds, and he's like berating himself for not telling his son that he loved him when he could. He's obsessed with finding him. He's a construction worker. He's a guy who fixes things. So he wants to fix this. He needs to fix this. And everything he did made absolute sense. And he's trying to figure it out in this very strategic way. I remember we were watching it, and he had that dream, and you saw like the gun and the timepiece on the clock on the gun. Yeah. And I remember you asked me, I wonder what that means, and I'm wondering if that was just because a weapon shoots straight to its target, and that's what the kids were doing. They were running straight to the target, and then that's when he starts busting out the map.
Oh, I didn't think of
triangulating where everything goes. It was sort of like he had all the pieces. He just didn't know where the two lines met, what that meant.
Right.
And the teacher fills in that final piece.
Right. And he'd gone to the other parents' house, the little girl Bailey's parents.
Yeah.
I think you asked this during the watch. I'm going to ask Lenny. In that sequence in Archer's story, he goes to one of the parents. I think the mother answers the door. And initially, she's not comfortable sharing her like ring video with him. But then he kind of ambushes the dad of the child. And the dad allows him to see the video. What did you think of that? Why would you think the mother would be hesitant to help an investigation that could potentially recover her child? And then secondly, why was the dad amendable here?
The only thing I could think of is the privacy issue and the incriminating issue. So, okay, it's my private ring. He's not a police officer, right? He's nobody. He's just a dad trying to figure it out. I don't think she trusted anybody who would come up. Right. But was this information given to the police? I don't know. It seems like no. And she's like, no, you can't see my ring, the ring camera. But I think that has to do with, and also maybe there was a level of self-incriminating, like what's on this ring that I did wrong as a family. Like,
oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
To me, it's the mother is like, that's her kid. The kid ran out. You didn't hear the kid rustle, or you didn't hear the kid. All of these parents didn't realize what direction the kids ran. We saw the movie. The kids were running. Not one parent was running after them.
Right.
I know kids are quick.
No one's.
I know kids are quick. They're very quick. But I know if I don't know how deep you sleep, but I hear something in the house, I'm up.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt. I felt like when she was like, I don't want to give it, it didn't surprise me. I thought she was an idiot, but I felt like she did something wrong and she wanted to hide whatever it is that she couldn't see in the ring because this is inexplicable for that. And then the father probably caved in because it's like he probably made more sense. It's like, if you should be giving this video to everybody,
Right.
you should be all working as a team. You're all angry.
Right.
All your kids are missing. So that's what I felt.
And it felt like, I'm going to ask you the same question, because it felt like when Justin Long's character comes home, he's coming home from work, and I'm assuming, I mean, not that he doesn't care that his child's missing, but his life is going on. Meanwhile, the juxtaposition of Archer's life, like he's screwing up the orders, he has this construction company, and he's making some big mistakes that could potentially ruin his reputation. So he's got to get his shit together and his head back in the game, and the only way to achieve that is finding his son Matthew. So what's your take on that sequence?
I mean, I was trying to think about it, and barring any sort of nefarious thing, which we know doesn't really apply here, or at least it's not addressed in the story, the only thing I could think of is just, let's be honest, she is a woman by herself in a house, and this guy that she doesn't really know is saying, could I come in and look at your Ring camera footage?
That makes sense too, I guess.
And it's
But
sort of like,
I don't think she doesn't know him. I don't think she doesn't know him. If you're in that
she
small
knows,
community,
she knows who he is, because like he introduces herself and she nods and she understands that. But there's a difference between, oh, we're good friends, we speak to each other, and I mean, he's basically introducing himself. He's like, yeah, my son is Matthew, right?
Right.
I'm Matthew's dad. If I met you, if we got together, Lenny, I wouldn't walk up to you and be like, oh, hey, Lenny, I'm Gracie's dad, because I know you. I've known you for years.
yeah, but so has she. I think it's more on the, I did something wrong. Like, you know this dad. This is a small town.
Right.
This is not I have 1,100 kids in my school. It's much different, where, oh, my kid is in your class. Can I see? These people know each other.
Yeah.
They know each other well. This is a suburban.
Yeah.
And that's my stance.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if you don't travel in the same parent circle, you know who's who, and especially if your kids are in the same grade level.
I'm not saying, okay, she knows him, but she doesn't know him. She doesn't know that he is a safe person.
All right.
You could live next door to somebody, know them all their life, and then suddenly it's just like you're being interviewed on the news saying, oh, he seemed like such a nice guy. Who knew he had all those heads in his basement?
Oh, God, I hope that doesn't happen to us.
I mean, come on. We've all...
You mean that they find that you have heads in your basement? or that you have your next door neighbor who seems so nice?
I wouldn't have heads, but I would have tons of boxes of shoes.
Definitely. That crazy lady, she's got 1,000 pairs of shoes. Where does she put her children?
So they'd be interviewing the neighbor. Like, I can't understand why she had so many shoes. I've known her all this time, and she always wore the same pair. Yeah. There's a difference between knowing and knowing, is what I'm trying to say.
Now that's a movie idea. Shoes. Like, how do we take this movie idea and make it crazy, like something like weapons?
Yes.
Yeah,
and you have to have the true blue friend that's willing to walk 1,000 miles in like 100-degree heat to get pink candies with you.
Yeah, as an aside, the people who will hear this is like, where are they going with this? It's a long story. but I think that mother, she was being ridiculous. I think she felt like she did something wrong, and she did.
Yeah,
she did. Blame the mother.
That kind of makes sense too.
Yeah,
I mean,
she probably did.
Saying, but I feel like it's more this, because it's like,
well, I mean,
child.
honestly,
you
even
would do anything to make sure that you get your child back.
Right, but that just adds to what I'm saying, because is she going to let in a guy who also is kind of an emotional state, and like he's the guy who actually really was like had kind of the outburst at the auditorium, and she's going to let him in, and who's to say that he's not going to be like, why the fuck didn't you wake up? What? And just start getting all heated and emotional about it. Whereas now he just waits, and now the husband comes home, and the husband is basically going to be like, okay, I'll just show it to this guy, because women should be wary of just people of men that they don't really know that well, and especially as far as like letting them into their house.
All right, that makes sense too. I mean,
it's just sort of the natural thing, the way things work. I mean, women walk down the street at night, and if there's somebody just walking in the same direction as them behind them, it's sort of like that's uncomfortable. And for the innocent and for the guy who has no intention, that's also kind of uncomfortable now because it's sort of like, I bet this lady that I'm walking behind thinks I'm going to kill her. This is the world we live in.
Yeah.
It's just. You can't really trust anybody.
That's
that's kind of another theme about this. All these people in this small town, this stuff doesn't happen in a small town. And it's like, well, we can't trust the teacher. It's the teacher. She's a witch. It's like, come on, we're 2025. You're talking about witches?
Yeah.
They're
like,
right,
serious,
though.
and
They
like,
just didn't. They just didn't figure it out.
Yes.
It's like, and this is like, you're seriously talking about witchcraft. And like, I see this on the news. There was like some guy running for office in California, and he's like, yeah, my opponent, she let all the witches in.
Who is this? Well, we'll talk about it.
It's just like,
And how do I fund her?
It's like, what is going on? Okay, but yeah, that was honestly the only thing I could possibly think of. Because logically, yeah, she should just be like, yeah, okay, come on in, I'll show you.
Right.
Nah,
no,
she
I mean,
felt like
that
she
sort
did
of makes
something
sense
wrong.
too. It could, I mean, it's really up to. I mean, okay. So the other thing I wanted to say before we continue is one of the things that I love about Zach Cregger is that you're presented with a story, and it's like, okay, there's room for interpretation. So obviously, you're going to take your own experiences and spin and formulate hypothesis or speculation about the story. So I think that that's nice because it's like he's not force feeding you everything and he's not telling you everything. I think you and I had previously at the beginning of the year seen Heretic, which is such a freaking amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie is very much that. I mean, there's something going on, but you as a viewer are also bringing in your biases and your experiences and your history and your thoughts and feelings into this situation. So I think that's another thing that Cregger does really, really well. Because even in Barbarian, you're not given everything. You're shown things. I love that. I mean, even though we get exposition in the beginning, like he's very much, let me show you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you kind of thing. So here, too, you get that sense of, okay, what is happening? Because when I saw the trailer originally, I for sure thought Julia Garner had something to do with these kids. To me, it was like, oh, so this is sort of like the Pied Piper. She did something to kind of put these kids under a spell and make them disappear, and now the parents are up in arms. And I'm wondering what it is that she wants in order to either let the kids go, or is this going to end in a very bad way? And this is a story, this is every parent's worst nightmare, that you're going to find that your child is missing, especially a little kid like that, like 8, 9, 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And then kind of to the Archer character, right? That feeling of helplessness and hopelessness, because as a parent, you've failed. You failed to tell your child exactly how you feel because maybe the words didn't just come so easily to you, and you failed to protect your child because that's your only freaking job, and you couldn't even do that. So now you're put into this place, and my heart bled for Archer. I love Josh Brolin as an actor, but my heart really bled for Archer because it was like, as a parent, I completely understand this. I would be a wreck. I couldn't be the detective trying to figure this out. I would be laid out thinking about sticking my head in the oven because as a parent, I failed my child. So we go from there, and his story sort of ends at the gas station as well. And we won't talk about that just yet because that's a really important scene, I feel like. But from Archer, we go to Paul, who's played by Alden Ehrenreich, who I think is a great character actor as well. And his introduction into the story is kind of interesting because he and Justine have history, and they have a relationship even though he's married to his boss's daughter, right?
Yeah.
So, but Justine and Paul still see each other. And the way Justine's presented, she seems like a very assured young woman. And it's interesting that she would kind of settle for a relationship with this guy who I feel doesn't bring much to the table. Can I start with you, Lenny? What were your thoughts about the Paul character?
Well, at first I didn't know they met at a bar. You didn't know the whole entire story between them, but you knew that they went on a date, and then a date in a bar was kind of like not the best place to have a date. So then you realize that they're hooking up. And then I feel like following him in the story, he was just someone who really sucked at his job. He made no sense. You saw how bad he was. Everything he did was just stupid. Like a real dumb. Like he was a dumb cop, and I think he might have gotten the position because he was the husband of the daughter of the person who was in charge of the police department. And then it opens up to her where it's like, oh, she's human. She makes bad choices, and a lot of those and that kind of like that wasn't the first bad choice that she did, because movies are built on bad choices, right?
Especially
you did something
horror.
wrong. Especially horror, right? Don't go in, right? Don't go. We could hide behind all these machetes. Why go into the running car that could get us to escape? No, I think this is a better idea. And I think it was necessary to show how stupid he was and how flawed she was right from the get-go, because that set up her stupidity or her not thinking about things, because I don't think she did think about it. I think she's good at her job, as we had seen later on, when she's dealing with the one that was left behind, I guess. And so I felt like she was good at her job, but I don't think she was good personally. I think she's flawed, like, and not flawed in like a Shakespearean sense. It's like bitch, you're stupid. You're seeing this cop. It's a small town. Go to another town.
Yes.
Sit in another bar. Figure it out. But this is what you're going after. And look at him. He may be good looking. But then again, I don't know, maybe she's not looking for more than this. I don't know. But I think that sets up for how both of them are dumb. Like, and then we'll talk about how she's stupid later on. Yeah. And then he's just not good, at his job. He's not good. And even the father is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Always kind of like hiding what the department does is what they do best, is like when something does something wrong, the police department kind of like, from what I gather, sweeps it under the rug, and teachers, no, we expose them and put them in front of,
right on the gallows.
We did, right. Well, right here, blame them. So you get to see both worlds of that.
I feel like a policeman fuck up has more of a ripple effect. Yeah, absolutely. Teachers are definitely put on the gallows for the slightest things. I'm going to ask you the same question. What did you think of the Paul character?
He is definitely sort of a portrait of incompetence. Everything he does is wrong. You also see that he's like clearly a guy who is frustrated with his role, in that I think he thinks that he should be more in control.
Or he could be doing more.
Like especially when his dealings with Jesse.
James,
the drug addict. And you really see that when he sees James for the second time, when he just sees him sort of like walking towards the station, and he loses his mind. He is like, I told you not to come around here. He just loses it, because he is just ignoring that guy's authority. He just goes chasing after him.
And he can be that bully. He could
be that.
He's hiding behind his badge, and he has authority.
He has that power. He clearly does not have the power in his relationship with his wife,
or his boss,
I mean, obviously his boss,
or his coworkers, who I feel like just snicker behind his back.
Well, I mean, he's a cop. He doesn't. Most cops, whenever you see them, there's a partner. Where's his partner? He's just driving around by himself. Also, he's not really even the boss with Justine. She's bitching him out. Like,
yeah, she controls.
It's like, why are you there? She is just bitching him out throughout the entire thing. He's, you're just drinking a Coke. And then when she's dropping him off, and then, I don't want to hear when 17 kids are missing that you guys are just, everything's cool. I want you to be working hard. And it's, he is clearly just the guy who wishes he was in control, but isn't.
I agree with that. Yeah.
At the end, it's sort of like, and it's like the worst thing for that guy, because at the end, he has absolutely no control. He is completely under somebody else's control at the end of that movie.
He is a portrait of a mediocre man who wishes that he could be more, but is incapable of achieving that goal.
He is like impotency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I thought his part of the story was interesting too, because you get that sense of he's not even a person, he's just a caricature, right? This is what true incompetence looks like.
Yeah,
Masked
and
as this tough masculine guy.
I mean, in the long run, he's pretty inconsequential to the story.
He is. I mean, he plays a part.
He really.
But
I
not
mean,
a big part.
if you're going by the title of the movie, he basically is just a weapon.
Absolutely.
And that it's just he literally becomes that at the end. As far as his daily life, as far as his impact on things, it's pointless. He doesn't really serve any purpose as far as solving the mystery. He just kind of stumbles his way into something.
Yeah. And his story ends with him dragging James into the house. And then we turn to James, who I feel like is the most tragic character in the story.
He's also the comedy relief as well.
Also,
Yeah.
shout out to Cregger for not only making a great horror film, but also injecting some levity into it, which is also needed, I think, because sometimes when you're watching horror, you are so in the thick of it that when laughter breaks it up, it's sort of great, right?
It relieves you, and it's something you don't really see too much in a film with this kind of tone.
Yes.
Where usually in this kind of tone, it's relentless. It's
right.
You're, as the film goes, it's like you're almost sweating by the end, because it's like what's happening. You're that
what
tense.
Mess. This is too much. This is absolutely too much.
Yeah.
I felt like that when we watched Bring Her Back.
Bring Her Back is exactly like that. By the end, you're just like, Jesus Christ.
I know. It was just too much. I need a cigarette now.
But this, it's like there'll be something, and then there'll be like a little moment where it's like you're given a bit of a break, little break, and then you get to go on that ride again where it's ratcheting up the tension.
And so we go to the James character, who to me at least was the most tragic character, and of course, there for comedic effect. He is a young man who is addicted, and we don't dwell too much on his addiction, but it's there. You see it, and you sort of understand that this is why this character is walking this path. He is a person that is solely there for Team James, only wants to think about his next fix, and wants to facilitate that in whatever way he can. The sequence where he goes into the house, into Alex's house of all houses, right, to steal things, to then be able to sell, to then be able to buy more drugs, is quite interesting, because I think if I was in that position, I would have just, as soon as I saw Alex's parents, my ass would have been out of there like a rocket. But not James. Not James. And then when he finds what he finds in the basement as well, I would have been like, no, not today, Satan. Not today. I would have just gone running. And I probably would have taken my little sleeping tent and all that stuff and moved to a different town at that point. But that's not what James does. Lenny, what are your thoughts about the James character?
He's an addict, and addicts are uncontrolled. They're a slave to their addiction, and it fit right in. Again, something so ridiculous. And the only thing I compare it to was if you remember the movie Trainspotting.
Yes.
Where the drugs, they're taking drugs, and it falls into this nasty toilet bowl, and he needs his fix so bad that he goes into the toilet bowl and takes those pills from the most disgusting toilet bowl you've ever seen, and eats I think he does it. But he goes in. That's the thing I could compare. And we were laughing at him in the movie, getting all grossed out. And this movie is old. Like I think we might have even seen it years ago together. And that's the only thing. And I said, this addiction, this crazy, even though it's comic, does, again, the outlandish and outrageous kind of fits in, because nobody's gonna. How else were we gonna get into this house and see exactly what went on? Is only through someone like him. Right. And because he's looking for silverware, or looking for anything to steal, and he even sees that, he's like, "Oh my God, this is crazy!" And he didn't run out. He's still trying to. His addiction is in control. So it's like, again, something that really makes sense on the back of something so outrageous. Yeah, he's an addict. And that's the only way we would have gone into that house that way, and to see the kids in the basement, and the parents just sitting there, and he's like, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" And he's still going through draws. Any person without any issues like you would have left, right? But there's a different cause here, and that's the only way we would have gotten in that house, which was through this addict.
Yeah,
and thank God for it, because now we saw it was much worse than we thought. Like, we thought it was bad.
Yeah.
No, it was much worse. Much worse.
What are your thoughts on James?
Yeah, like I mentioned, he was the comedy relief. He was also this tragic figure.
What did you think of the sequence when he's calling the police solely for the reward, not for any altruistic reason, but just solely for the reward?
I mean, that's completely in fitting with his character. He doesn't care about those kids. He just cares about that 50 grand. And he wants to make sure that he gets it all. Plus, I mean, he doesn't trust the police. It's
right.
I mean, he was knocked unconscious by Paul. So yeah, but like Lenny mentioned, we need that character because he is, like he said, the only guy that's going to be able to get into that house and start unraveling that knot. Justine, the closest she gets, she peeks through the window. Right. But the norms of society, you're not going to just bust into somebody's house. The drug addict looking for a fix, he doesn't need to obey those norms, so he's allowed to go through that window, and he's allowed to do all that sort of stuff.
And also, Archer needs Justine to figure out why the kids ran in this direction, and she gives him the information.
She gives him the final piece.
Right.
Yeah, like
they're all going to Alex's.
They're all going to Alex's house.
Right. And then James's sequence ends with him being pulled into the house.
And it's funny because he's sitting in the back of that car for God
Hours.
knows how long, because when Paul goes in, it's daytime.
Yeah.
And when Paul comes back out, it's nighttime. And he is just like pissed that he's basically stuck in this car the entire time. But when he sees Paul, he knows, oh my God, this is bad. And he just gets dragged in. And where there were houses nearby, weren't there?
There were, but everyone's stuck to their own business.
James is screaming his head off. These people, the people in this town are like either super sound sleepers or they just don't give a damn about what their neighbors are doing.
They're very insulated. I forgot in what part of the story this sequence lies. I'm gonna move on to the Marcus character in a second, but when you and I were in the theater watching this film, and Justine is doing her stakeout, and Alex's mother comes out of the house, that sequence was terrifying to me, not only because of the way that Alex's mother was moving, but everything that happens in that sequence. And I think at the end, there was like this nervous laughter. Do you remember that?
Nervous laughter?
Sort of, like collectively, the audience.
I mean, I remember the audience being freaked out.
Yeah.
And
I think we should tell the people, like, what, instead of, I think we're being a little too, I think we could give this away.
Yeah.
And I will. Like, so she's staking outside of the house. She's in a car.
Looking at Alex's house.
She's looking at Alex's house because she knows something is wrong with the house, but she can't go in. And it's nighttime, of course. And the mother comes out, walks very slowly to the car. She's not even running to the car.
She has her hand raised.
Very strangely. And it's so slow. We're, as an audience, we're like, what the F?
And I think there's like weird ambient music going in the background, right?
Right. So that's, but the thing is, like, she's able to open the door. Like, I don't know why her door isn't locked. Again, bad judgment.
Yes, we said that too.
Bad judgment. She opens the door. She snips a piece of her hair. Like, we're thinking she's going to be hacked into a million pieces. Yes. But no, something sicker happens. She cuts her hair, shuts the door quietly, and the woman and the mother goes right back into the house as if nothing happened. And she's asleep in this car with her hair missing. Doesn't notice that her hair is missing. Right? That is scary. And I think that it was that unnerved. It's like, how do you again fall asleep? This actually happens. You don't even hear the door open in your car. It's not even locked. Right?
Right.
Opens the door. I'm like, bitch, what's up?
Well, I think
you got bad choices.
Plus,
she was knocked out.
I think she was drunk too. She's basically filling up a big gulp cup with straight liquor.
Vodka.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's an idiot. They're all idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in horror movie, people usually make terrible choices.
They have to
in order to move the story along. But that was, yeah. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
little
that
much.
was like, what the hell? What is
What is
like
going
that?
on? Yeah.
That brought the element of, okay. I mean, if you didn't believe all the kids running into one house and going in one direction and they're all escaping at 217, this now puts the movie in a definite different place.
Yeah.
Like really, really, okay, what the heck is going on? Like
Right.
that's where it went from, okay, like, if I ride this train where all the kids leave and they don't know where they are and they're blaming the teacher, and now all of a sudden that happens. Oh no. Now we're in a whole other level of something is not right.
Right.
And it's not right in the not right world, you know?
Yes. So I think one of my other favorite chapters in this story, I love how it's very like Rashomon, right? You're getting different vantage points and you're creating the complete timeline of things are happening. So each character is contributing to sequences. But I think Marcus's chapter is very important because I think this is the first time that we see Gladys.
Mm-hmm.
Who we'll get to her in a second. But Marcus is the principal of the school. He's played by Benedict Wong, and he is in a same-sex relationship with his partner. And when we see him initially, he is doing what couples do on a weekend, going food shopping while talking to Justine on the phone. He's trying to get her to understand that she needs to back off and that she needs to leave Alex alone because this doesn't look right, and let the school investigate what they need to investigate. And so she asks him to kind of bring in Alex's parents, which he agrees to. And so from there, he sends word to Alex's parents, but Alex's parents don't show up. His Aunt Gladys does. And I love how she comes into the story. The secretary is standing at the door and she's like, Alex's aunt is here. And it's almost like she wants to say more, but obviously she can't. And when she moves away from the door, in comes this lady who is just shy of being a clown, I guess. And it's interesting because both Justine and Archer previously had her in dreams, but you never see that they've interacted with her at all before. And yet she has crept into their dreams. She's also crept into James's unconsciousness, right? The only person who doesn't seem impacted by her is Paul. You never see that glimpse of him having a nightmare about anything related to Gladys. So we've seen her in the periphery, but now we really see her. Now she's being introduced into the larger story. So she comes into the office to talk to Marcus and basically is telling him, oh yes, I'm Alex's auntie. His mom is my baby sister.
Right then and there, another big flaw, because you don't talk to anybody else that's not on the emergency card in the school. So how she was able to get in, they're not feeling well, and I'm standing in, and of course she's an old biddy, and they believe her. Yeah. Again, everybody's making a big mistake, even a school, even a principal who's the only, I think the only sane person in this, town. Logical in this whole town. He even makes this mistake and then allows this auntie. I'm like, I'm not talking to no auntie. Yeah. Did the parents call you? Did the parents say that this was okay? I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
And maybe because it is a small, stupid town, something like this could happen. She's so adorable, of course. And now she's that eccentric aunt who's kind of, she's very charismatic, right? She's very cute, and she seems harmless.
Right. She presents like this frail little thing. Oh, she could never
harmless. Of course.
Yes. I mean, he does sort of push back and says well, I really need to talk to a parent, whatever. But it seems like for the most part, he does drop that I need to get authorities involved. And she does not want that because she's got something cooking at the house, which we're going to learn about a little bit later. But as far as Marcus's story, right? I agree with you. He's probably the most sane, well-adjusted person in the story. He seems like he's in a committed relationship. He seems like a really decent guy, a good boss. He seems like he's in a nice, loving relationship So how his story ends is very jarring and very, at least to me, very upsetting, because what happens in his chapter, it's very gory. I'm going to start with you. What did you
Who's
think
you?
of Ray? Ray,
Your husband.
what did you think of the Marcus character?
I felt sad for him. I mean, taking the chapter as a whole, you feel terrible. He really seems to be a guy who cares about doing the right thing, keeping things under control. He defends Justine. He's trying to do right by everybody.
Mhm.
And
he's in a nice, loving relationship with Terry,
yeah,
his partner.
he's got a loving relationship with his partner. They're gonna sit down for a pleasant evening of watching TV. What the hell were they watching?
Like, was it ants or spiders? Some kind of bug. I didn't look.
Watching some nature channel show while having some really ridiculous dinner of hot dogs and crudité or whatever. And then suddenly they're just disturbed, and there's Gladys and asking for a bowl of water. I'm eccentric. I love how she excuses that. I'll get you a glass of water. No, could I have a bowl, please? It's just an eccentricity that I've forgotten, that I don't even feel like explaining. She literally says that. And then it just all goes to hell, and he is no longer who he was. Yeah. He is stripped of everything that he was as a person, and he becomes a weapon. And I felt terrible for Terry. Oh God.
That scene was very hard to watch.
And the fact that it's Marcus that's doing to the, and that's like, it puts like an added level on the horror of the whole moment, because you have any kind of empathy. You're like, what was going through Terry's mind in that moment?
My thing was, when you see all the advertisements, it's his face all covered in blood. Yeah. But then which was smart, because you had seen in the beginning of the movie, you were like, oh my God, is that the same guy? One. And two, it's like, how did he get from this well-adjusted principal to that monster? Like, how the heck did that happen? Right.
Yeah. You know, especially, and then you see eyes, like the look on his eyes. Yeah. Bugged out like crazy.
And again, it was like, I'd mentioned this to maybe you guys in private before, where it was like the only gay couple, and for this, and they were so adjusted, and they didn't have issues, and all of a sudden it was just like he pummels his lover, like he pummels him, and it's like, to me it felt like, is this a mean thing against gay people? I'm not sure, or was it just a mean thing against a really good relationship, and they just happen to be same-sex partners?
Right.
So I wasn't, like, when I thought about it, like, looking back, I didn't think of it while I was in the movie, but when I took a step back and goes, oh, why did they pick like the other couple, the one that answered the door with the ring, like to do something like that, where it would have been really cool to see a woman do that to a man, like pummel him like crazy. But then again, the only way this might work is if it was so shocking, because it's like, this is the person that loves me. Like, there's no doubt. Like, he was like, what's going on? Instead of like, you don't think your partner would do that to you. At least you hope.
Yeah. That's what I was.
Well, that's what makes it more shocking, right? Right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, can you imagine what's going through? Like, why is this happening? Why
are you doing this?
Yeah, why are you doing this? And for Marcus, I mean,
he's no longer there.
Is there like. Marcus is basically just like a machine now. Is there anything of Marcus inside of him that's like screaming for it to stop? Your mind could like go crazy thinking about these things. It's a really horrific moment on many, many levels.
Yes. It was very jarring, because people die, but to see it like the way it's played out, the scene in the kitchen, and then afterwards, when Marcus goes to base, he's like a cruise missile. He's targeting Justine, and he's on a mission.
Yeah. And I think the reason why they picked that like grouping, or Marcus and his partner, is because it is probably the only relationship in the movie where you see a loving couple. I mean, aside from maybe Alex's parents, but I mean, it's not like they had a great end either.
They're occupied right now.
Yeah, but as far as like, I mean, Justine's relationship with Paul, terrible. Paul's relationship with his wife, terrible. Archer's relationship with his wife, clearly strained. I mean, he's like lying in the bed, and she just opens the door, looks at him, and says, "I'm going to work." whatever's going on with Bailey's parents, they didn't seem to be that close either. And then you have Marcus and Terry, and it's just like, hey, we're going to watch some documentary about cordyceps or whatever.
Right. And flowers. They have like, I think it was like, oh, this is our life and it's really cute.
Yeah.
And they have a nice place. And I'm like, oh God.
It's all just torn to pieces, which makes it even worse. And then, like you said, he becomes a cruise missile. Maybe that's why their arms are behind their back when they're running.
Well, what was the thing that you said? What was the anime that they do that?
Naruto. Yeah. Everybody runs with their arms behind their back. And like you see it it's influenced other things. I mean, if you ever see in Bob's Burger, that's how Tina runs.
Yes, it is actually. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. But the scene in the kitchen, I mean, for me, it went on a little too much, and it was very jarring because tonally the film, like, the bad things are happening, but not to that extent, and you're not seeing it like that, right? And then just the way that Marcus pummels Terry, it just goes on. It went on to me a little too long, but I understood what the filmmaker was trying to do, because you're having this really impactful moment as we start, I think, the third act of the film, but you have to.
I think you need that to show that this is horrific, and this power is it's just an incredally evil power.
Right. And she's standing there like nothing. Like
oh God,
nothing, with a clear
she
head.
is so like who's that actress? What's her name?
Oh, Amy Madigan.
Yeah, oh my God,
so
she plays that part so well, because Gladys is a fucking monster, and a monster with a smile. Just this. Oh,
my favorite ones.
It's so funny. I'm watching her. She was in that other movie. We didn't really care for that movie, Antlers, with Kerry Russell. But,
yeah.
But I think I said to you when we were in the theater, I was like, "That's Uncle Buck's girlfriend. What is she doing?
She's doing horrible stuff.
She's doing really bad things."
And even when she appears in their dreams, she's just smiling.
Yeah.
When James sees her in the woods, she's just like waving in a friendly way, just looking all and he looks at her and he's just like, "I'm out of here." Boom.
Boom. Yeah. And even when Justine, and she comes into the room and all the kids have their heads down, but when Alex looks up, he's got the clown makeup on, and I was like, "Oh my God." I would have absolutely. And then she wakes up, and then when she wakes up, she sees Gladys on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, so like a nightmare within a nightmare. So then from the kitchen scene, we see Marcus, and I think like to Lenny's point, you see this in the ad where he's just covered in blood and his eyes are bulging, and he's running like the kids are running, and he's basically making a beeline for Justine because he has to kill her. Because I think that's a loose end. I'm assuming that's why Gladys did what she did to Marcus, because as soon as he said, I'd have to get the authorities involved, she now was like, "Oh, no, we don't have to do that. I'll go back and I'll talk to the family, and I'm sure that whatever. But then she comes to his house, to his personal space, to say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I can get the dad." And she's like, and she kept trying to understand, like, you didn't loop in anybody else to this, did you? You haven't made any calls yet. And as soon as he confirms that, that's when she does what she does, because he's now a loose end that she has to take care of, and she's going to use him. And that was another thing I didn't understand, how when people were in that state, like, how did she like think what she wanted things to happen? Did she say, like, "I need you to kill this man standing next to you"?
It seemed to just be like, it seemed to be just thought, like whatever she wanted them to do. Or maybe it had to do with, I'm trying to think. Because
she never says anything when she cuts herself.
I mean, it has something to do with the hair, because she snips off a piece of Terry's hair. She has a piece of Justine's hair. Yeah, the hair is what sets the target.
So my question is, when the boy does it, at the end, about the hair, how did he pull that off?
You see him pull it off of a brush.
Or her brush? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in her bathroom, and he pulls it off her brush or
No,
something.
no, I know, I see that, but how did he get all those kids to do his bidding? Because usually it
Because
was
Honestly,
he had
Juan.
this he had the stick that had all the kids' personal mementos wrapped around it.
That's right. Okay, that's how that
Yeah,
happened.
because like the weapon is the personal memento wrapped around that thorny stick.
Right. So I was
Then
like,
you stab it with your thumb
or your hand.
or your hand. You bleed. You get your blood on it. So you're
and
the
if you ever doubt that a child could do critical thinking, that movie proved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
know.
yeah.
I know. Like after this movie, I looked at my fifth graders in front of me and I go, yeah, that could happen. All of it. All of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay, so then let's get into the final chapter, which is Alex. And Alex's chapter is really interesting because we get sort of like the broad overview of the story. Like you're missing Justine's voice in it, you're missing Archer's voice in it, you're missing Paul and James's voice and Marcus's voice in it. However, I think the character that has the most information in the story is obviously Alex. And when we start the story, you get a sense that Alex is the only child of this very loving couple. They have a very nice life. His father is always there at pickup to pick him
Yeah.
up. And you can tell that they have a loving relationship. This kid, he's on the tiny side. He seems like he's being picked on by Matthew of all people, right?
Yeah, especially Matthew.
Right, who's Archer's son, who goes missing in the night. But that's neither here nor there. But it's an interesting callback to that, to include that character in, and then
in that sort of little micro relationship there, it gave the director a chance to demonstrate what a good kid Alex was, because when they show him taking care of everybody, he is taking care of
Matthew too.
Matthew too.
Yeah, I mean,
He could have let that kid starve.
Alex was definitely the MVP of the story. I love that they ended it with him, and I love that he has this. Basically, he goes on the hero's journey. He comes to this obstacle, which is Gladys, which is a big one, and he figures out a way to best her at the end. But it's slow going because
He can't do it quickly. He
can't.
really couldn't.
No, he couldn't, because the people that he loves the most, his parents, are being impacted by Gladys. And for him to immediately do something could have resulted in something horrific happening to his parents. And she basically says that. She says that she would hurt them.
She'll make them eat each other, which
Right.
is like way worse than just saying I could make them kill each other.
Right.
Yeah, she was sick.
She was fantastic.
She was.
Like if I could instill
Fear like
that amount of fear like that into my students, and it's horrible. I'm sure if this ever, from my mouth to God's ears, if this does make it out in the most amazing world, and they're hearing this teacher say he wish he had that power. Yes. Yes.
All teachers
because
want
he
that.
got those. She leaned in real close to him and was just like, "See what I can do." And that child did not flinch. He was such a good actor.
Oh my gosh,
He's like,
yes.
oh my God, no crying. He was like, if he doesn't do the survival mode at this moment, it's going down.
Yeah.
And I think he realizes she needs him. And I think at that moment it was like, okay, now how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to get out of this? Because she said, I can do anything to you. And he's realizing there, okay, I can do back. Like, I think that was the moment where he's just sitting there and he's realizing the forks. I mean, forget it. It was great. She leaned in. She goes, see what I could do? I loved it. I loved that part. It was so creepy. It was so good.
What did you think of the Alex character, Ray?
Yeah, that actor did a great job. He definitely played his part well. He was smart. Lenny mentioned he clearly is trying to. You could see he's scared. He's obviously scared, but you could also see he's trying to figure stuff out and taking his time, and he does at the end. And he's like you mentioned, he's good at sussing this stuff out. I mean, he observed all of the stuff that Gladys was doing, to the point where when it came to the end, he knew exactly what to do. And even stuff where he wasn't aware of what was going on, like there was a part at the end where it's just like, she's just like, don't cross that line of salt. And he was like prepared to do what needed to be done. He sort of just did the little in-out thing and just ran.
You should tell any 4th or 5th grader, don't do it. The next thing they're going to do is you turn your back is they're going to do it. Why? Because you told us not to.
Exactly.
That's the reason.
Exactly.
That's the reason.
But I think he knew that they were going to like snap out and chase him.
Something.
And he would be able to get into that room.
But like so quick. It was a toe. And great.
Yeah, and then his mom was like the bug-eyed thing smashing its head through the wall. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so scary. Imagine being a child and seeing that.
Yeah.
Like your mother. Remember? I mean, we just watched the first Kingsman when the mother tries to kill the baby in the bathroom, and then the baby starts crying. Like I hate that scene so much. I mean, I'll sit through it, but I still hate that scene so much because the implications of that.
There's just something horrible about somebody you love trying to
hurt you,
kill you, and like it's not them anymore. It's just they're just crazy. They're just like.
Well, watch Mommy Dearest.
Yeah.
Try Mommy Dearest, where it is someone I think she loved her, and then all of a sudden she's covered in Bristol cream, throws Ajax all over the floor, and tells her to clean it up after she beats her for like 10 minutes. That was another that's a horror movie right there.
Yes.
Yes. Beautiful dresses, no way. And she just goes after her. And it's like, this is someone you're supposed to take care of you and love you. And this is
what she's up to.
This is what she's up to.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like a level of horror beyond just.
Right. Because your mother's supposed to be nurturing, right?
Yeah. They're not some stranger or guy in a hockey mask or something. It's what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
That's why like possession movies or zombie movies could be so disturbing because you're being chased by somebody you love.
Right. So then we sort of get the wrap up. Alex saves the day. He's the MVP of the story. And but it's still melancholy and bittersweet because I don't know if there's a happy ending for Alex because his parents, what did the little girl say at the bookended narration? Somebody else is feeding them soup.
Somebody else is feeding them soup. Yeah.
But it's not Alex. And Alex went to live with a nice aunt.
And some of the kids could talk now. Like it was
a year later, I think the narrator said,
I think the narrating in the beginning and the end really made it feel like a fairy tale.
Yes.
And then everything in between was not. It was more like hell on wheels. And then it was, and they wake up, they woke up and they never came back. And I'm thinking, that might be like a beautiful twisted, fairy tale. And then all of a sudden, this beautiful voice comes back and is explaining in this sweet voice that, and some of the kids were able to talk, but not have full conversation. I don't remember what it was, but it was like really eerie to go in with that voice and then come out with this but it's okay, but it's not. It's not. That was, I thought that was pretty smart to make it feel like this world that we're about to step in is really cute and fluffy. And then, the title is Weapons. And then you see the advertisement of the guy that ends up being the principal is now doing monstrous things. And this crazy aunt is not crazy. Actually, she's not crazy. She's definite in what she needs. She got her shit together. And she just made a mistake. And she underestimated a 4th grader. And I would never turn my back. Never turn my back. I could tell you a story where 2 4th graders, not in my school, not my old school, but in a school that was in Brooklyn, the teacher left her water bottle out, and 2 kids got their hands on bleach and put bleach in the water bottle. So when the teacher went to drink it, they almost killed her. So 4th graders are capable of anything. Never turn your back on a child. Never. And then they'll get the most sympathy. So tying that to Alex, Alex is smart. They are smart. They are smart when they want to be.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
Right. And you think, and tying it into this movie, that's real life,
Right. Oh my gosh. But so before we wrap up, because kind of to Lenny's point, I do want to talk about that fabulous sequence that is at times comedic, but also horrific.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
for Gladys.
Yeah.
But so I just looked really quick on the computer and I did a Google search. This is still playing in selected theaters. There's a couple of theaters here in Jersey. I couldn't find it in the city for some reason. If you are able to, listeners, please do yourself a favor. And if you love horror and in spooky season, you should absolutely check out Krieger's just phenomenal weapons. It is playing in selected theaters at this point, or you can rent it on Prime Video. But I think the theater watching experience is like, this is one of those films that I'm gratified that we went to the theater to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to hear the audience's reactions is
right.
Crazy
and that whole
stuff was going on.
communal experience, right? Because we are all just horrified at Marcus and Terry's story. But
Yeah, and then I told you before that this movie, I said, oh, this saved my life because I hated going to movies. There was nothing, especially scary movies that were letdowns. This one was like, oh my God, I remember being like 15, 16, 18 years old. And this is what it's about. Like this level of scary.
Yes.
And thank God it saved my life. I love this movie wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I agree. I think you and I talked about this before, how this year, every film that we've seen in the theater has been a home run, for me at least.
Yeah,
everything I've seen in the theater, we lucked out.
Year.
And I think it's funny because there was a point where we weren't discerning. We were just in the theater every weekend, whether it was a good movie or not. Yes, before children. And then when we could go to the theater with children, we'd see Marvel stuff, which is, there's a place for Marvel movies and Pixar movies and stuff like that.
Couldn't watch horror movies.
We could not watch horror movies. Absolutely not. But now that the kids are older, we can go on date nights. And so I was so happy that we saw this in the theater because I enjoyed watching it on our TV last night. However, the theater experience, the communal experience of being with people who are laughing and also cringing and also being severely impacted by the story on the screen, this is what movies are about, right? That sense of community, oh my God, what happened with Marcus and Terry is just, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. What happens to Gladys is kind of funny. But but we'll get to that in a second. So I urge people, if you can get to a theater, and if this is playing near you, absolutely make the trek. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So let's come back and wrap it up. So to wrap up Alex's story, we come to find out that Gladys has been the puppeteer here, kind of moving all the chess pieces and making things happen. She is the one responsible for all the bad stuff that has been happening. And we find out that not Justine, but Gladys is probably the witch, right? I don't know what you want to call her, but I think witch is
a good term.
Yeah,
because she's clearly doing some kind of magic there.
Yes, she's using elements in her space and chanting and doing all these things to enable these other things to happen. So having watched her, there was a sequence where she's sitting at the table where Alex's parents they're already in their state.
Catatonic
state. And she's like, I want you to watch, right? And then they start stabbing themselves in the face with the forks. And
this is what I can do.
Right.
This is what I can do. Right.
And it's interesting because here's this, when you first see her arrive at the house, she's this frail old woman that needs help coming into the house. But as she takes possession of people and as she rebuilds her energy stores, however this magic works, there's something more alive in her, right? She looks younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess you can surmise that this is how she gets her power, from stealing the life out of people.
Yeah, I think there's a part where she says she's talking to Alex and she's basically saying that she's sick and she's dying, and she thought that his parents would have been enough. Mm-hmm. But she's like, but I think I need more help. And that's when she tells him about getting the students.
Right.
And
that's unlimited resources, right? Because they're young.
They're so young. So I'm guessing that's because she really wasn't it wasn't like she was like, oh, I'm going to use them to, I don't know, steal or rob a bank or something. It was just, she basically just kept them in a basement.
Right. Right. And it was Alex's job to feed
feed them, keep them alive, because it clearly was that's how she was cheating death. because she was like when she was arriving, the father was like, "Oh, she'll probably be with us for a couple of months."
Not even. He's like, I think she's got a month.
Yeah, because they were convinced that she was just done for. She was gonna whatever she had was gonna get her.
Yeah.
But then suddenly, they're catatonic and she's walking around.
And then when the kids come under her spell, she seemed more youthful.
Yeah, like she seemed to like when she had that speech, she clearly, because she was coughing and whatnot, and she tells him that she needs more.
Right, and he's like, and in his innocence, he's like, "If you get better, will you go back home?" And she's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
But obviously she wasn't, because towards the end she tells him, "Pack your stuff, we're leaving," because now she knows that the jig might be up soon where she is, so she needs to go to a different place, but she needs Alex sort of as her little minion to do her biddings.
Yeah.
Now it's so easy to have a fourth grader on your side that's able to get all access to many
Children.
I guess children or people.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, let's move to this town. Okay, let's do this here, and let's go across the country.
And she, I mean, in my mind, she would have just left everyone there, Alex's parents, the children, because she would have just started fresh, right? And all those kids would have died because they wouldn't have been attended to. Alex wouldn't have been there to give them their shit.
It seemed like so long as she was, the control only disappeared, or they only regained their will when she was eliminated.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Let's talk about that sequence. So Alex, very just on his, like, just thinking, right? Just really thinking and just coming up on the fly with this idea of what to do, right? So she's downstairs taking care of business with Archer and with Justine. So she's preoccupied. That sequence where Archer goes into the basement looking for Matthew and all of a sudden you see Gladys.
Yeah.
That was a jump scare for me. And so upstairs, Alex is concocting his own little plan. And I think you mentioned before about she told him not to step over the salt, right? But he does it, and he activates his parents, who are now like on the death march as a missile focused on him because they have to eliminate the threat. So he obviously knows the space. He knows where to hide. He knows where to go. In this he's Alex's last stand in the bathroom, in Gladys's bathroom that she's commandeered. He then has the stick. He has the wig. He originally has the wig, but because her hairbrush is in there, he takes the hair follicle, he wraps it around. First he cuts himself. He slathers the blood. The parents are pounding on this door. They look like they're going to come in any second now. And the mother's head comes in, and the look on her face is just terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Like, as a
Worse
child.
than The Shining. Worse than The Shining.
Absolutely.
That was a big nod to that. That was a big nod.
Big nod, yeah. And so when he then does the spell and breaks the stick, the look on Gladys's face.
Yeah, she's like,
she said,
no.
"Oh shit."
Well, I originally thought it was but last night I was actually a little disappointed. She only says, "Oh no."
Oh, she said, "Oh no." I thought she said, "Oh shit." Well, that sequence goes by so quickly, and then the way that Gladys is moving, like Usain Bolt, right?
Yeah.
She is like, we gotta get out of here.
Sprinting, she's.
Yes, and just the whole.
And you hear the kids in the basement. It's just like, Rah!
Yes, and they're coming up with their little feet, right?
Yeah.
And so. And I think I said this to you. I think originally when we saw it, it reminded me of that sequence in Game of Thrones, right? When when they're all coming down the embankment.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's when they were coming over that wooden fence, and they the fence falls down, and they're going through windows, and
yes, and it's like relentless. Like, this is not going to end well for Gladys, and we know that. And as viewers, we're like, yes, finally.
And it's sort of like they're still going in that like direct line, because there's a part where Gladys has to move around some stuff to get like right at the end when she like goes through this house, and she has to like go through the doors, but the little kid just goes crashing straight through the windows, and that closes the gap, and like the kid finally tackles her. Because seriously, those kids are like missiles. They're just.
Yeah, and there's 17 of them. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we all knew that this wasn't going to be a good end for Gladys, and it's not. And it's so gratifying.
Yeah.
It's so delicious. It's so
It's
delicious.
awful.
Yeah.
It was like to think, oh, that was gonna end that way. Come on. That was
It
like
was just desserts, though. It was.
I
just
get
desserts.
it,
Yeah.
but it was like, oh my God, they went there.
Yeah.
They went there.
Children
and that kid,
as murderers. Yeah.
beautiful concept.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they were in that state, so they wouldn't remember. They probably wouldn't remember this at all. I think.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, she kept them in the basement. They were there sort of like battery power.
Yeah.
But once Alex did what he did, they were on a mission. And it would not end until the mission was completed, and they completed it.
They went through glass. They went through houses. They were just fast. And that lady was fast too.
She was booking it, yeah, but she was no match for 17 children.
Not at all.
Yeah, I love the reaction of the people in the houses. It's just like,
oh my God.
the first they see the old lady, they're like, what the hell was that? And then suddenly it's just chaos as children are exploding through glass windows.
Oh God.
That was so good. Seeing that in the theater was just so, and I feel like the audience reaction was like phenomenal. Everybody was like happy
I screamed.
and cheering. Yeah.
I screamed at the top. I had to apologize to the woman sitting next to me. I went, oh my God. And I went, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, no, I get it. Because everybody was just like creeped. They were just creeped out from the whole movie. They just couldn't.
Yeah. Because everything up to that was so tension. Yeah, so much tension before that.
Worse. It just, everything just got worse and worse and worse. And oh no. She said they could crack the stick. Oh no. And then she took off. Oh no.
That was brilliant. That was,
So did we get to rate it now?
Yes. We'll start with you, my friend. 1 to 10. What are you going to give this?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God. It was the best movie until I saw something else. When I saw, as from your suggestion, which was Bring Her Back, which is a whole other world of just loveliness. I'm gonna give this movie a 9. Yeah, I really liked it. I really liked it, and I liked the witchcraft aspect of it, and that's it. I love that the kid was the hero, because we love when kids figure shit out, and we realize that
their baser instincts.
I really loved Gladys and her awfulness, especially with him. Like, there was such good acting where she's sitting next to him. Can you see what I do to their parents? And then with the forks, it was just like, and he just sat there like, toughing it out, no crying. No. He was just a tough little kid. And I think being bullied helped with that. I think she was just brilliant. And all the flaws were just these characters were just, some of them were just dumb.
Yeah.
But it all tied in. So I'm changing. I'm going to give it 9.5. Like, it was better than I thought. But there was one movie that I didn't think was going to be that good.
And it beat
that gets this 10, and that was. And hopefully, I'll get to talk about that one. But this movie was real. I didn't think anything was going to beat this one for years. It was so good, and I love horror movies. I love to get scared, but this was creepy, scary, and it had a supernatural element. It ticked all the boxes for me. So really, really good.
I mean, I really like this movie too. As you mentioned, it's one of the best horror films to come out this year. I would probably say it's probably like my number 2. Once again, with like Lenny, Bring Her Back is probably my number 1 so far. I mean, there's still a couple of months left. You never know. I would give this. I'd give this an 8. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I would say as a first-time viewer, I would probably give this a 9 because I definitely felt more scared and tense during the first viewing. I feel it's a bit less during the second viewing because you know what to expect. Yeah, but like I don't want to make this a comparison between Bring Her Back and it, but like Bring Her Back, I've seen it again since then, and it's still
horrifying.
Oh my God! Yeah, So yeah, that one has like staying. They're both excellent, but I think that one has staying power. This one is still great though. Oh my god, and that ending is just amazing.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, so
Chef's
I would give this an 8, or maybe like even an 8.5. I don't usually like giving halves, but yeah.
I think you should. I mean, just being picky, but what was your thought the first time you saw it? You said it was higher. Now, do we see movies again? Like this one is. I would definitely rent this again on a very chilly Halloween night and have all my fourth graders. I can't even talk about this movie in my class.
Yeah.
Because they're kids in there, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And I said I can't even. I saw a movie. Like I told my students, I'm like, I saw a movie. It had kids in it. It was really scary. What was it? And I said I can't because they will find a way to watch this movie and be terrorized.
Yeah.
And be terrorized.
Yeah. Then they'll be like, Mr. Hernandez, don't.
Right.
And then you're gonna get the letter from the teacher or for the parent,
for the principal.
Like, how dare you traumatize my little Billy?
Yeah. But it was I see where seeing something twice. I mean, Bring Her Back. The first movie I ever would have maybe walked out of, like, because it was too much. I shut the movie off in my house. Like I shut it off.
Did you watch their first film? Have you seen Talk to Me?
No.
You should.
No, I'm going to.
Yeah, you should definitely get that on the list because that one's good. I feel like Bring Her Back, they definitely come into their own. Like it is. I think I gave that a 10. I'm pretty sure I gave that a 10. I'm gonna give Weapons a 10 too because I love this film. I don't think I get what you're saying about how it's not as impactful as the first time because of course, you know what to expect, but I still feel like, to Lenny's point, it ticks all the boxes. I think it's funny. I think it's scary. I think it's heartbreaking. The Marcus Terry scene really, like, that stayed with me. That did a number on me. And then the ending where you see like the resolution, but are there any winners here? Like, I feel bad for Alex.
Yeah.
He's never going to have his parents back. Justine is probably going to have to go get a new job in a different town, right? Like, Paul's marriage, shit. Who knows? I mean,
I think Paul's dead.
Oh, right. No, you're right. Paul's dead. James is dead. Archer, I mean, does his marriage get fixed with getting Matthew back? Who knows? I mean, I feel like they were already on a slippery slope there. So, I mean, there's no winners here. There's no winners. There's only losers. And so I think
I mean, as like I said, if this was my first time viewing, I'd give it a 9. But I feel like this one, I don't know if we should even account for that. Maybe should we like repeat viewings because we never really do that before. But
right, no,
we never really have the opportunity to do that before. But
yes.
I would say one thing that stuck out to me was that the first viewing is excellent. Which is funny given that we've just done a discussion about this film where we spoil the shit out of it.
Well, we put that in the blurb. I mean, people can
but
turn
still,
it off.
it's sort of like, we're ruining all the...
And technically, this is probably going to hit the streamers soon because it's playing in Hazlitt, New Jersey. Like, who's going to go to Hazlitt to see Weapons? It's not even playing in the theaters anymore, I don't think. Or for the most part, it's not.
So if I'm judging it as a first-time viewing experience where you don't know what's going on, I would give it a 9.
Okay, well, I'm still sticking to my 10 because I love horror, and this has been a banner year for horror. This has been, I am so gratified. I am looking forward to Good Boy, and nothing better happened to this fucking dog. That's all I'm saying. And so whether I see this 2, 4, 8, 80 times, I think this is still going to hit because Cregger did a really good job of balancing all these little things that overall give you like an incredible story experience. To Lenny's point, like a lot of these characters, they're flawed, but that's part of horror. I mean, you and I are going to talk about 28 Weeks Later, and everybody is stupid in that film. And so there's those moments, but you also have like these beautiful, like familial moments, like when you originally, like at the beginning of Alex's chapter of the story, where you see his interactions with his parents and how loving and beautiful is before the tragedy of Marcus and Terry, that situation, right? So there's these beautiful character moments interwoven in this larger tapestry of just horrific story, because here's this entity that comes in, this Gladys person who just upends everything, destroys lives without a fucking care. So when her end comes, it is completely earned and completely gratifying. And the way that she gets it is chef's kiss because her weapons turn on her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't. I mean, could things have changed? Sure, but you know what? Overall, as far as I'm concerned, this is still a 10. Bring Her Back, absolutely a 10 as well. Sinners, 10. This has been such a great year for horror. Such a great year for horror. There's a couple of things that got off the radar for me. I think once they hit streaming, I'll check them out. But I'm looking forward to seeing Good Boy in the theater. All right.
What's that about?
It's a horror film through the vantage point of the dog.
Okay.
It looks it's gotten really good reviews. I bet like, I mean, just the trailer, there were some sequences where I'm like, what is that in the background? What is going on? Please don't hurt the dog. And it's a good looking dog. So there's that. But before we wrap it up, again, we'd like to encourage everyone to please like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you, Uncle Leo. We love you. Thank you so much for sitting and chatting with us about this fantastic film. Again, if you can, see it on the big screen. But if you can't, it is available to buy rent on Prime Video. I think it's like $4.99 at this point. I mean, that's less than what I paid for my damn ticket. Mm-hmm. So definitely check it out. From 2025, Weapons, rated R. This is not for children, please.
Yeah, it is.
With a runtime of
you
2
should
hours
have your child.
and 8 minutes.
If you want to bring up your children right, you should be showing them this movie.
Yes, please. Yes.
It teaches critical thinking.
It does teach critical thinking. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll wrap it up and we'll bid you all a
good night.
Good night.
Good night.